everybody, how's it going? It's me, Lacey. I'm here today to teach you how to do the Hedgehog piggy bank. Okay, so everyone should have one of these handy dandy boxes, and inside the box we don't need everything. What we need: our cute little hedgehog. We'll need our paintbrush, and we'll need the 3 paints that are loose in the box, not the paints that are taped into the corner. Okay, so if you're looking at the stuff with the green tape on it, don't take the green tape paint, take these paints. Okay, something else that you'll need that I didn't include in the box is going to be a cup with some water to wash your brushes, and a napkin or a rag to dry them off. Okay, finally, what you want to do is make sure that the space you're in can get messy. Okay, so if you look at my table, I got a big mess here. If you guys have ever worked in a studio for a birthday party or an art class, you know that messes are okay here. But if you're working in your living room or your bedroom or the kitchen or the dining room, make sure that it's okay to paint wherever you're trying to sit. Okay, the best way to do that is make sure that either the space you're working on can get messy, or make sure that you've got newspapers or a paper towel or a reusable tablecloth of some kind, or maybe work outside. You just want to make sure that we don't make a mess where someone might get upset. Okay, so this is a good time, all right, to make sure you have everything you need. And if you don't, pause the video right here. Make sure you've got your hedgehog. Make sure you got your little paintbrush. Make sure you got your paints. Make sure you got your cup of water and your napkin or rag to dry everything off. Okay, so pause the video if you're not ready, but if you are ready, let's get started. Okay, so here's our cute little hedgehog creature. All right, so we do have this bottom area that I'm going to say, don't worry about painting this. Okay, it's not very important, and when it sits like this, you're not going to see it. Okay, so that's totally okay. Next, we have 3 colors. We have this white and brown. They're mixed together, and I'm going to make sure that you mix this up so it's one fancy color instead of a mix mash of colors. We also have some chocolatey dark brown, and we've got black. Okay, so making sure that we've got our cup of water close by and we've got our brush, we're going to start with our tan. So I'm just going to open this little container up just like that. Okay, there's a little bit on the lid, it's no big deal. We're going to take our little brush and we're going to just stir it all up. Okay, stir it all up. What color do you think this is going to turn into? What color is this going to turn into? Okay, so if you notice, we have this very nice tan color, okay, or off-white. Okay, we don't want it to be too dark, but if you think that that's not dark enough, you can use a little bit more of your brown to add in. So what we're going to do with this color is we're going to paint our belly, our feet, our little areas of our hedgehog here. So I'm just going to start, okay, and you don't want any blobs or drips, okay, no blobs or drips. Now, if you'll notice, see his little foot pads? I'm just going to paint right over them for now, and we'll come back with another color later. Okay. And then I'm just going to get underneath and in between his little feet. Okay. So notice how I'm holding him and I'm moving him, or her. It's up to you. I'm holding and I'm moving it around to make sure I'm getting all the little spots. Okay, so you'll notice he's getting a little bit, okay? Getting a little bit there. Now we're gonna go around the arms. There we go, okay? And then over his forehead. And just like the feet, we're gonna paint over all the little details of your hedgehog. Okay, and don't worry, we'll bring them back after. Now, you might think, why are we doing this if we're just going to paint it a different color? And the answer is, it makes it easier, and it's less likely for you to miss a spot if you just paint the whole thing one solid color and then add details over top. Okay, we kind of do that sometimes with some of our painting projects. Now, you can feel free to do a second coat if you think you need it, But this paint should cover our hedgehog very nicely, okay? So you'll notice he's still kind of light, but he's not white, right? Okay, now the next thing, we're gonna put some of this light color on the inside of our hedgehog's ears. Not too much, unless of course you want to, okay? So this is that time where I remind you guys, if you decide that you want to do something completely different than what I'm doing, go for it, okay? You might have to use some of your own paint, but that's okay with me, and I would love to see your idea of what your hedgehog should look like if you're going to do something a little different, okay? There, so that's all I need. Now look at this. We have so much paint left. Should we throw that out? No, we shouldn't throw that out. What we're going to do, we're just going to leave this, close it up, move it off to the side, because we can always use it again some other time, okay? So I'm going to wash my brush. All right, and I'm going to dry it off. Oops. And dry it off. Okay, and now I'm going to open the brown. Same thing, we got a whole pot full of brown paint. Now this time, I'm going to work from one arm. Now, do you notice that I'm starting on the same side still? This means that once I get to moving to the back side of the hedgehog, the front will most likely be dry and it'll make it easier for me to hold on to. Okay, now if you make a little mistake here or there, no big deal. It's just like a painting. You can just wait till it dries and touch it up. Okay, so you might notice I make a little mistake here, but I'm not even going to worry. And if I do make a mistake, I'll just show you how to fix it later. Okay. So just let mistakes dry. Now, I'm going to continue painting his little spikes because he's a hedgehog. But notice I'm painting in the same directions that the spikes are going. And I'm going to move it a little bit to make sure I can see what I'm doing. Okay. Worst thing that's going to happen is you might get a little bit of paint on your hands, and that's no big deal because it'll wash off. Okay. Now you should have plenty of brown paint to do this whole thing. The only way you might run out of paint is if you're not spreading out your paint blobs. Okay, so if you see a blob, spread it out. We don't want any blobs on our hedgehog. It'll look like the hedgehog took a bath in paint. Okay. So I'm going around the ears for now, but I will paint the ears in. I just want you to make sure you see how I'm painting in. Make sure I get under there. See those little white spots? Yeah, we'll cover them. All right, and this is again why you want to make sure you can work in a space that can get a little messy, because if I put it down and it gets a little messy, no big deal. No big deal at all, okay? Now look, he's got a cute little tail. So I'm going to paint in our little hedgehog tail. Okay. I know sometimes we do paint classes with animals, and you guys always have some really interesting fun facts about animals. So if anyone has any hedgehog fun facts, I would love to know what they are, and I would love to hear them from you. I'd also really love to see pictures of what your hedgehog piggy bank looks like, and when it's all finished, you'll get to see what mine looks like. So it would be exciting to see if yours looks the same or if yours looks very different. Okay, so we're going to just keep painting. And I'm going a little fast, okay? So if you find I'm going too fast, don't worry, just paint at your own speed. And when it comes time to go on to the next step, feel free to pause the video and catch up, okay? That's the best part about these videos. You could spend all day painting your hedgehog and it wouldn't matter to me, okay? Whereas sometimes when we have classes, you might feel a little bit rushed because we only have an hour. So this can be very relaxing if you want it to be. I hope you spend some time doing lots of fun details. Okay. We're back around to this side here. I'm going to get that bottom edge before I go up any further. Making sure I got all the little white spots. I gotta move him again because he's got a little white spot under here. Okay. So the only reason there should be any white spots on your hedgehog is because you want there to be white spots. Otherwise, paint over it. Okay, so now we're getting over his head. I'm going to go right up close to the inside of his ears where we painted. I'll just tip it forward so you can see. Okay. I'm going to tip it forward a little bit more so you can see the top of his head. So same thing as before. I'm still painting in the direction that our little hedgehog spikes are going. Okay. Then, oh, I found a couple little blank spots. Then we can paint the ears. Now look, I'm going to go around the insides of the ears. I'm going to go over top of the ears and around the back. Okay, and then don't forget to do, oh, did I see, oh, I missed a spot. Okay, then I'm going to go over to this side and do the same thing. Okay. And then again, we want to make sure we get nice and close to the inside of the ear too, so I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller. Let's move it over so you can see. I'm just going to paint a little bit closer. There. Okay, so at this point, your entire hedgehog should be painted in. All of his spikes should be painted in. I'm going to see how fast that dries. I just finished painting his ears, and his ears are already dry. So we're just going to make sure that his whole, oh, there's some spots. So get those little spots anywhere you missed them. Okay, so you're going to cover in, even the back. Okay, now if you did have some blobs, it'll take a little bit longer for your blobs to dry, but just be patient, okay? Now, once this dries, it's up to you to decide if you like the way it looks or if you want to do a second coat, just like the face. Okay, depending on how heavy you put the paint on, it might need a second coat. So let's see if we can see. See how streaky it is over here? It looks a little streaky. Okay, so if you like the streakiness, you can go ahead, but if you don't like the streakiness, you're just gonna paint over another layer. That second layer will clean it up, and don't worry about running out of paint because you'll have lots to do a second coat if you need it, and if you don't, no big deal. Now you have extra paint for something else. Okay. So I'm just doing this really quickly. And like I said, if you're feeling rushed, just pause the video and then push play again when you're ready to keep going ahead. So I'm just going to do a really quick touch up just in areas where I'm like, oh, look at that. It looks a little streaky. Needs a little bit more work. You're the artist, remember. Okay? So you decide what you want this to look like. I've decided I don't want my hedgehog to look streaky. But if you want yours to look streaky, by all means, maybe that makes your hedgehog have a really cool texture. It's up to you. Okay. Okay. So, here we go. You'll notice he's a little shiny here and there. That just means he's still wet. Okay. All right. So, we've got lots of paint left over, even when I did a quick second coat. So I'm just going to close that up. I'm going to put that off to the side. I'm going to wash my brush again. I'm going to dry my brush off again. Okay. And I'm going to get the last thing of paint that we've got here. We've got black. So what I'm going to do with the black, just the little details. Okay. With this black, I'm going to paint in the little pads of his feet. Okay. Now, if you think that these little pads should be a different color, and you have other colors of paint at home that you'd like to use, go for it, okay? I would love to see what you decide. All right. Don't be shy. Oops. Okay, so he's got little paws. on his little pad feet. And I want you to take your time. I'm doing this, it's a little bit difficult for me to do this in front of the camera like this because I'm more concerned about making sure that you know what to do than making mine look perfect. Okay, so we've got there. Now, with the eyes, you could use the end of your brush, but you can also use the back of your brush. So I'm just going to use the back of my brush, just like we do in class. Okay, and I'm just going to make cute little hedgehog eyes. Okay, and there you've got your sweet little hedgehog piggy bank. Okay, so there is a little plug at the bottom. All right, you can also write your name down at the bottom or the year that you painted it if you'd like, but just wait till the rest of it is dry and make sure to wash both ends of your brush. All right, we don't want any paint to dry on that brush because we need this brush for our other project, okay? So the other project in this box is drawing a fox and painting it with that fun, bright, colorful paint that I taped into the corner of your box, okay? So I hope you had lots of fun. I hope that you have some money saved up you can put inside your piggy bank. And I hope if you've decided to make yours a little different than mine, that you would send me a picture because I think these are just so cute, don't you? Awesome. Thanks so much, my friends. Have a great night.